What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Pac-12 football channel. Our 2019 college football schedule previews continue with the Arizona State Sun Devils. You can see their schedule on your screen. Of course, with Herm Edwards last season, they surprised a lot of people, made it to a bowl game, actually finished the regular season 7-5, and it all started with that win over Michigan State. I thought that really helped them to build some momentum and going to have a really solid season in his first year. Looking ahead to 2019, the big question is going to be the quarterback position. Manny Wilkins is gone. They've got some young guys on the roster. It's going to be an open competition, and it's going to be a really interesting competition as well there at the quarterback position. And I think that is really going to determine how well this team does. You look at the offense and what they have back. Eno Benjamin is back at running back, one of the best running backs in the country. Yes, they do lose N'Keal Harry, but they've got weapons. The offensive line is back for the most part. So offensively, it really comes down to that one position. If they can get production out of the quarterback spot, they could be very good offensively. Defensively, they lose a few guys, but not a whole lot. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic if you're an Arizona State fan. But if the quarterback position doesn't work out, it could be a rough season. And we'll go through the schedule now. They open up with Kent State and Sacramento State. Then it's a road game this time against Michigan State. They open up conference play against Colorado. Then it's on the road at Cal. Washington State is at home at Utah, at UCLA, back-to-back road games there. USC on the road at Oregon State, Oregon, and then Arizona to close it out. That will be a Friday game, the Friday after Thanksgiving. And then I believe that Sacramento State game will be a Friday game, and then Kent State's a Thursday game. So they have several games. Actually, Cal also, as I look through the schedule, Cal will also be, I believe, on a Friday night. Yes, so they play several games throughout the week, and that could be a good thing. Could get them some national exposure. We'll see, what channel those games are on. But anyways, the schedule, it's not too bad. They don't play Washington out of the north, so that is good for them. And then I don't believe they play Stanford either. So pretty good draw out of the north. We can give them a couple of easy wins. That's Kent State and Sacramento State. I was close to putting Oregon State in that category, but because it's on the road later on in the season, I thought, well, we'll hold off on that. They should win that game, but I'm not as confident enough. I'm not confident enough to put that as pretty much a guaranteed win. So 2 wins for them for sure. And then again, we look through the rest of the schedule. They're probably going to be favored against Colorado, maybe against Cal on the road. Maybe against UCLA. We don't know how good they're going to be. Oregon State will probably be a game they're favored in. And then Arizona. So I think you've got 5 games potentially that they'll be favored in. That would put them at 7-5, right where they were last season. But, they beat Michigan State last season. Maybe they can do it again. So looking at this schedule, I think they could win those games, get to 7 wins. And then pull off an upset somewhere along the way, get to 8 wins. And to me, that's probably about the best case scenario. Now, if they have a quarterback come in and play like a Heisman contender, this team could win 10 games. But I'm going to hold off on that. I'm not going to get too overexcited about this team. But yes, the schedule does set up to where if they are a really, really good team, a little bit better than I think, yeah, they could get to 10 wins, I think, maybe even 11. But I am a little cautious right now. Let's see how this team goes through the spring. They're actually already in spring practice. They had the earliest spring practices, I believe, of any college football team I know at the in the Power 5. So we'll see how that looks, and maybe they get a little higher, but I think 8 wins is probably a pretty fair best case scenario. And then worst case scenario is 5 wins, and that's saying that the quarterback position doesn't do anything for them. They lose to Michigan State on the road. They lose to Cal on the road. They lose to Washington State. Utah and UCLA both on the road. And then USC, Oregon, Arizona, they lose a couple of those games. I think that's possible. It's really tough to say because we don't know how good a lot of these teams are going to be. We think we know, of course, but especially in the Pac-12, we don't really know until we get into the season. I think the Pac-12 has been one of the tougher conferences to predict the last few years. So who knows? Arizona State could be right there winning the Pac-12 South. I think that's very possible. And I think they could also be right there towards the bottom of the Pac-12 South. So really don't know for sure, obviously, what's going to happen. But this, again, the Pac-12 is going to be tough to predict, especially that Pac-12 South. We feel like we know it's going to be Oregon and Washington in the Pac-12 North. maybe Stanford in the running as well, maybe Washington State. But in the Pac-12 South, it's wide open. USC has a lot of talent. Arizona brings back a lot. Arizona State looks pretty good. UCLA should be a lot better. Utah won it last year. They're the favorites right now. But I think it's wide open. So Arizona State, really, I think they get to a bowl game. I don't think it's 5-7, but that would just be the absolute worst case scenario. I think this team's going to get to 7 or 8 wins and have a pretty solid season in Herm Edwards' second year. Thank you for watching this video. If you're a Pac-12 football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in Pac-12 football, keep it right here.